name of this video is DNS Records for ZoneBusCompanyX.com. In this video, I will discuss each DNS record in ZoneBusCompanyX.com. And just as an FYI, I'm going to show where this information can be found. Okay. This is the Liquid Web Account Management Console. Okay, I'm in networking. See, there's a tab called networking here, and I'm in the DNS tab, and I'm in the current DNS zone here is buscompanyx.com, and these are the records. I took some screenshots. This is what we were just looking at in the account management console, and this is similar information which I had documented in eWallet. Okay, let's get started with these DNS records. The two NS records, these two right up here, are authoritative declarations of the two domain name servers for buscompanyx.com. In other words, the people on the internet may encounter other name servers that specify records which help identify things that are related to my domain. However, since these domain records are on my official name server for this domain, these two are basically have the final say-so about what the real authoritative original name servers are for my domain name records. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, now moving on to MX records. By the way, those two name servers, those two Liquid Web name servers, those are a service from Liquid Web. My machine, my virtual machine, actually has a name server on it, and I could have used that one, but I'm using these ones that Liquid Web provides for all their users. Okay, now back to the MX records again. The MX records are the mail exchange records. They redirect mail sent to a user in buscompanyx.com domain to the named mail host machine. Okay, so any user who has an @buscompanyx.com, like these things over here, these on the right side, these servers belonging to Google are going to be the mail hosts where the mail is sent. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about the A records. A record stands for address record. An address record assigns an IP address to a domain or subdomain. See, here, there's two domain names. There's the main domain name, and then there's a subdomain name. Okay? Now, what's the significance of this? The significance of putting this IP address to this name here means that anytime someone in their browser or whatever protocol requests buscompanyx.com, it's going to go to this machine. If they request the subdomain host on buscompanyx.com, it's going to go to this IP address, which is the same machine. Now, let's say, okay, somebody types in www. Well, actually, these A records are not going to help with that. I think that's what the C name records are down here. But either way, let's say I really did want a subdomain like www to go to a different machine. I could make an A record for that, and that would serve that purpose. But right now, the only subdomain that goes to this machine for sure is host.buscompanyx.com. And without any subdomain, it'll still go to that same machine because they're both the same IP address. Okay, what are CNAME records for? I found this page on a website called DNSsimple.com. Mostly it talks about the differences between the A, CNAME, alias, and URL records. However, I did learn some useful things right here. It says the A record maps a name to one or more IP addresses when the IP address are known and stable. However, the CNAME record maps a name to another name, and it should only be used when there are no other records on that name. Okay, I'll show what that means for me. Okay, I have a CNAME here, for example. This is the most important one, which maps the www.buscompanyx.com to buscompanyx.com. Okay. Now that explains why I don't have an A record for www.buscompanyx.com, because there's a rule, which I just read, which says this name can only be used once if I'm going to use a CNAME record for it. Now, you may be wondering, why did the person who advised me choose to tell me to make www a CNAME record? Well, it makes it flexible because it's almost like a redirect, okay, rather than specifying an IP address. So this is going to have whatever IP address that buscompanyx.com has. That way I can change this IP address just in one place. Okay, now the other thing to note here is that there's a CNAME for FTP and there's one for mail.buscompanyx.com. Basically, that allows us to specify when someone types into the browser or their protocol these URLs, it specifies where they will be directed. Mail.any domain name signifies where a person would log into their mail if they have an account on that domain. Okay, now since I use Google, I was advised to use this particular domain name here, ghs.google.com. That way, when someone who has an account with buscompanyx.com types this mail.buscompanyx.com in their browser, they'll be able to log into Google Mail. Okay? By the same token, FTP buscompanyx.com will lead a user to the machine that has the same IP address as buscompanyx.com. Okay, there's just a few more things here and we're done. There's a TXT, a text record on my DNS zone. This was set up when Liquid Web was applying for an SSL certificate for my domain. Basically, the people that create the SSL certificate want to make sure that the person asking for it to be created is the person that has control over the domain. So they ask them to put a text record like this one. And you just end up putting whatever string here that they ask you to put in to verify who you are. Okay, the other thing is, you may be wondering what these priority 0, P5, P10, and all those are. Well, where I got these strings from for the MX records, they came from Google, so I just pasted them in here. But these priorities basically dictate when someone sends an email to someone in my domain, which is the most likely server that this mail will go to. That's why there's different priorities. Okay, now the one last thing. Besides setting DNS records, there's something called reverse DNS. And I am also able to set that from my Liquid Web management interface. And basically, a reverse DNS is used by some web applications to make sure that the IP address they are being directed to actually belongs to buscompanyx.com. Okay, that's it.